There is something about the sense of being you that feels unquestionable, almost self-evident. You wake up each day with the quiet certainty that you are the same person who lived yesterday, the same individual who remembers, who decides, who experiences the world from a single continuous point of view. This sense of identity feels stable, grounded, and real. It feels like the center of everything you are. But what if that certainty is not as solid as it seems? What if the feeling of being a fixed self is not something fundamental, but something constructed? Something that appears within experience rather than something that exists independently of it. Because when you begin to look closely, the idea of a stable self starts to shift. Everything you associate with who you are can be observed. Your thoughts appear and disappear without your control. Your emotions rise, intensify, and fade. Your memories change over time, reshaped by new experiences and interpretations. Even your beliefs, the things you once considered certain, evolve or dissolve as you encounter new perspectives. Nothing remains exactly as it was, and yet you still feel like the same person. There is a continuity that persists, but it does not seem to belong to any single thought, emotion, or memory. So where is this you that feels so constant? If you search for it, you might begin by looking at your thoughts. After all, they seem to define your inner world. But thoughts come and go. You do not choose most of them, and you cannot hold on to them indefinitely. They arise on their own, stay for a moment, and then disappear, replaced by others. If you were your thoughts, then who would you be in the gaps between them? Perhaps you turn to your emotions, to the feelings that give color and meaning to your experiences. But emotions are just as unstable. They shift with circumstances, influenced by things both within and beyond your awareness. What you feel now is not what you felt before, and what you feel later will not be what you feel now. And if your identity depended on them, it would be constantly dissolving and reforming, never fixed, never stable. So maybe you look at your body, at the physical form that seems to anchor you in the world. But even this is changing. Cells are replaced, structures evolve, and over time, nothing remains exactly as it was. The body you have now is not the same body you had years ago, and yet you still say, "This is me." But if everything about it changes, what is it that remains the same? And this is where something subtle begins to emerge. Because no matter what you observe, thoughts, emotions, sensations, even the sense of identity itself, there is something that remains constant. Not as an object, not as a thing you can point to, but as a presence. A silent awareness in which everything appears. It does not come and go in the same way that thoughts and emotions do. It does not change with circumstances. It is simply there, allowing everything else to be known. And yet, you rarely notice it, because your attention is always drawn toward what appears within it, rather than the space in which it appears. You focus on the content, the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences, and overlook the fact that all of it is being observed. But if you shift your attention even slightly, something interesting happens. You begin to recognize that everything you call you is something you can perceive. And if you can perceive it, can it truly be what you are? This question is not easy to answer because it challenges something very deep. The sense of self feels personal. It feels like the one thing that belongs to you, the one thing you cannot lose. But if it is something that appears, something that changes, something that can be observed, then it may not be as fundamental as it seems. It may be part of the experience, not the source of it. And if that is true, then something extraordinary follows. The you believe yourself to be, the personality, the story, the identity you carry through time, may not be the one who is truly aware. It may be a construction, a narrative that helps organize experience, giving it continuity and meaning. Useful, necessary, even beautiful, but not ultimate. So what is left? Not a thing, not a concept, not an identity you can define, but the simple fact of being aware, the presence that has been there in every moment of your life, unchanged, unnoticed, constant beneath everything that has come and gone. The same awareness that was present in your earliest memories is present now, and will remain as everything else continues to shift and transform. So the next time you say I, pause and look more closely. What exactly are you referring to? The thoughts, the body, the story, or the awareness in which all of it appears? Because if everything you identify as yourself can be observed, then maybe you are not what you think you are. And if that is true, who are you really?